Hey everyone, it's Kimi, and today, as you can see, I've got my blanket here in front of me. Just part of it. I mean, it goes on and on. It's kind of large. But in the last section, I showed you how to attach all your squares together. Well, today we're going to finish up the blanket by adding a border around, and the border is just an extension of the white border that we already did on the granny square itself, which of course is an extension of the granny square itself. It's the same pattern. But when we add the border, it's going to clean up these joins. Anytime we have a join, it looks a little funky on the top, on the side, you know. And so the border is going to help us clean that up. So it's basically like when we added the white one, the white border there. Grab. Okay, so here's my yarn here. Now, I know on the square itself, I tied off the yarn. I don't want to do that today, just because I want this edge to have a nice clean look to it. So we're going to just take the yarn and make a loop. We're not going to tie it off. We just want a loop here. And I'm actually going to work, let me pull this in here. I'm actually going to work into the corner to start with, since as you can see on this one, this square here was actually one of my earlier squares. So you can actually see where the join is, and it's not as clean. And so I don't, basically the point is I don't want to put my new join in the same spot where I had my previous join. It'll make both of them more obvious. So if I back one up and put my join over here, then this join and this join, they won't make each other look more obvious and more visible. So got my loop here, and I'm going to come back behind my piece, put my hook in here. We're just going to grab that loop and pull it in. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is behind the piece, I've got my tail here, and I'm going to hold my tail just in place so that I get the tension there. Go ahead and wrap my hand here how I would normally do. All right, and so we're going to go ahead and chain up 3 to get up to height for our double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now, the way I'm going to hold my tail, just like I did before, I'm going to hold it right up here. So as I work my double crochets, we'll work the chain in. So yarn over, in the hole, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, through 2. I'm going to do one more of those double crochets here. And then, just as before, our chain of 3 here counts as our first double crochet. So we're going to go ahead and work our corner, and it's just going to be just like before. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to work 3 more double crochets, still holding that tail because I'm still working that tail in. So we can go ahead and let go of the tail. We don't want to work it anymore. And then, however we did our previous, this is all how I'm working my blanket. If your pattern calls for something different, you'd use your pattern to continue. My pattern calls for 1 chain in between my doubles. So chain 1 and move to the next hole, and then 3 double crochets in here. and then chain 1 to get to the next hole, same as before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the way here, and I'll meet you when I get over here, because while this was previously the corner, it's not a corner anymore. It's part of the straight edge. So this is going to be just slightly different to what we're used to. So let me work my way up to here, and I will be right back. I've worked my row all the way to here. We're basically going to treat these like any other of our chain holes in our pattern. So chain 1 to get to it, put 3 double crochets in here, so yeah, 3 double crochets here, and then chain 1 to get to the next hole, 3 more double crochets in here, and so you can see we're going to be left with a nice straight edge there. We're going to continue all the way around our blanket, just like this. And then I'll show you, we're going to chain stitch, we're going to slip stitch to to end this off when we get back here. I am going to go ahead and continue on with making my row all the way around my whole blanket. And so this is probably going to be a decent bit of time for me, but for you, it's not going to be much time at all. So I will see you in just a moment. All right, so I've made my way all the way around my whole blanket here, and I am back to where I started. Done my 3 double crochets here. I'm gonna go ahead and chain 1. We're gonna slip stitch. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch into here, just like we've done on the rounds. So in with our 2 bits of yarn over, through here, and pull through here. Okay, if you were done here, you would yarn over 1 more time, snip off the excess, pull through, tighten. I have actually decided that I want to go ahead and do 1 more round of border, just to give it a little bit more, and especially since I've got these nice openings, except for right here where the 2 pieces, where the 2 squares join. That one doesn't stay open as well. So if I put 1 more row, then all of these will be open a lot better, and it'll look a lot cleaner. So I'm going to do 1 more round. To do that, I'm going to go up 3 to get to height. So 1, 2, 3. Now, just like within our pattern, whenever you go up on a row, you have to determine where your chain is closer to. The chain is actually closer to this hole here. So the chain is gonna count as my last double crochet for this hole. So to get to the next hole, chain 1, and we'll work our corner. As 3 double crochets, our chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 more double crochets. and 3. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and work the rest of this blanket, the rest of this round, just like I have everything else, with 3 double crochets into each and every hole. My corner's built just like this, and then of course 1 chain in between each hole. All right, I'll meet you back around here, and then we will finish off this blanket. All right, so I'm back around, and I'm just finishing up here, and that's going to count as our last double crochet. So there's 1, and there's 2, and then that's our 3rd. Okay, so now we slip stitch into the 3rd chain of this. So we have 1, 2, and 3. Stab into here. Okay. And as before, we have the 2 parts of our yarn here. So yarn over, pull through both parts. Okay, and we're going to yarn over, pull through once more. Going to cut off a section of yarn that gives us enough to work with. We're going to go ahead and pull that through and pull to tighten. There we go, that's our border on it. Sew in our loose ends, and that is how we make this granny square blanket. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Thanks for hanging with me this whole time. Thanks for checking me out. If you've never been here before, please subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye.